let's talk about something that happens in about 1 out of every 3 births here in the US. But for a lot of people, it's still a total black box. I'm talking about the cesarean section, or C-section. So today, we're going to pull back the curtain and walk through exactly what happens step by step to take away some of that mystery. So what is a C-section, really? Well, at its most basic, it's a surgical delivery. A doctor makes an incision in the abdomen and then another one in the uterus to deliver the baby. And yeah, it's major surgery, for sure. But it's also become one of the most common and safest operations out there. Now, it's important to know that C-sections kind of come in 2 main flavors. First, you've got your planned C-section. This is one that's scheduled ahead of time, maybe because the baby's in a breech position or for other medical reasons. It gives you time to get your head around it. Then you have the emergency C-section. This is the one that happens when labor is already underway and suddenly a vaginal delivery just isn't the safest route anymore for mom or baby. And that leads to the big question, right? How do doctors make that call, especially when things get intense? And once they do, what happens next? Let's follow that exact journey, from the moment that decision gets made to the moment of birth. Okay, so our story begins with the path to the actual surgery. This is that critical window where the medical team is double-checking everything and getting prepped, all with one goal in mind, making sure everyone is safe and sound. So before a single instrument is picked up, the team is gathering all this vital information. A doctor might gently feel the belly to figure out the baby's exact position. They're definitely listening to the baby's heartbeat, usually with a fetal heart monitor. Sometimes they'll even wheel in an ultrasound for a super clear picture. All these checks help them confirm, without a doubt, that a C-section is the right call. Once that decision is locked in, it's time to head to the operating room. And I know, that phrase alone can sound pretty intimidating, but honestly, it's an incredibly calm, controlled, and professional space. Everything is designed for safety and to make things run smoothly. So once you're in the OR, a few things happen very methodically. First up, anesthesia. This is usually a spinal block, and it's amazing because it completely numbs you from the waist down, so you feel zero pain. But, and this is the cool part, you're awake for the birth. Next, they'll place a small catheter to keep the bladder empty and out of the way. Then, a very thorough cleaning of the belly area to prevent any infection. And finally, a sterile sheet goes up, creating a little germ-free zone for the surgery. All right, let's talk about the incision itself. You've probably heard of the bikini cut, right? Well, that's the horizontal one, and it's by far the most common. It's made really low on the abdomen, just above the pubic bone, which is great because it heals well and the scar is less noticeable. A vertical cut is much less common these days and is usually only for very specific emergencies. Now, here's something a lot of people don't realize. It's not just one cut. It's actually 2. The surgeon makes that first incision on the belly that we just talked about. Then they make a second incision, this time on the lower part of the uterus. And if the bag of waters, the amniotic sac, hasn't broken yet, the doctor will go ahead and rupture it now to get to the baby. And get this part is just incredible. From that very first incision on the skin to the moment the baby is literally ready to be delivered. How long do you think that takes? 5 minutes. Think about that. The speed and the precision are just remarkable. And just like that, after all the prep, all the precision, we've arrived at the moment everyone has been waiting for. This is it, the main event. It's time to meet the baby. And then, in the middle of all this medical procedure, you might hear the doctor say something really simple and really beautiful. Something like this. It's that signal that things are shifting from a surgery to a birth. The delivery itself is this beautifully coordinated, gentle process. The doctor carefully guides the baby's head out. An assistant is right there, like instantly, to suction the baby's mouth and nose, clearing out any fluid so they can take that first big breath. Then the doctor delivers the shoulders and then the rest of the body. The cord is clamped and cut, and just like that, hello world, the baby is officially here. Okay, the baby is here and safe, but the work in the operating room isn't quite done. The team's focus now snaps right back to the mother. It's time for the final steps of the surgery, which is really the first step of her recovery. So remember that 5 minutes it took to get the baby out?
Well, compare it to this: 45 minutes. That's right, the closing part of the surgery can take almost 10 times as long. And you know what? That's not a delay. That's a sign of incredible care. It shows you just how meticulous the surgeon is, making sure every single layer is put back together perfectly for the best possible healing.
So what's actually happening in those 45 minutes? Well, first, the doctor will deliver the placenta. After that comes the most detailed work, carefully sewing or suturing all the layers of the uterus and the abdomen back together. Once that's all done, they place a protective bandage over the incision, and the surgery part is officially complete. Recovery really kicks off in the hospital, where you'll usually stay for about 3 to 5 days. The nurses will get you up and walking pretty soon, which really helps speed things up. And most importantly, this is where that new chapter really truly begins. You and your baby, recovering and starting your new life together. So there you have it. You add it all up, and it's about a 50-minute procedure from start to finish. But it creates a lifetime of change. It really leaves you with a big question to chew on. In making birth so much safer and more predictable, how has modern medicine completely reshaped one of the most fundamental experiences of being human?